Coming up on Mountain News this morning, state officials are looking for solutions to illegal immigration ahead of next year's legislative session. And Governor Andy Beshear is calling on Democrats to realize what Americans truly want.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I am Amelia Lee. Today's date, November 13th, and we are quickly approaching 5 o'clock. We're also approaching time to check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmall. Megan, it's been cold outside, and yesterday I was talking about, it's cardigan weather. Today it was hoodie weather for sure, sure.
Definitely this morning I had to grab my jacket, and you might need to this morning as well as we take a look outside at those temperatures. It is a little bit cool this morning, but don't worry if you don't like the cold weather. It won't be continuing for long, as today we're going to warm up. But let's take a look at those current temperatures, and you can see most of the areas in that 40s range. Some places a little bit cooler than they were yesterday. Prestonsburg 37, Grundy at 33, and if you're in Clintwood, 30 degrees. So definitely a cool area as you're heading towards Virginia, but we will be warming up to those high temperatures. We're looking in the upper 60s for today, definitely warmer than yesterday's upper 50s. So we're getting warmer, but don't worry, we're going to be cooling back down again as we're going into your Thursday. But satellite and radar is nice and clear. We do have some clouds and we have some rain as we're going into our evening hours tonight. Something to look forward to as we're needing those rain chances to help out with our drought. Amelia.
All right, Megan, thank you. Illegal immigration was a subject talked about in an interim legislative committee at the state capitol yesterday. An agent who works to determine if people in jails are in this country legally or illegally told lawmakers of a tedious, ambiguous, and often convoluted process to find out if someone is deported. As WYMT's Phil Pendleton explains, it's even something that the political climate in Washington has a role in deciding.
And the reason I bring
an immigration and custom enforcement official told lawmakers that this is an issue addressed because of some who have already broken laws.
So this is a simple ask of folks that are already in our local jails that are already causing problems within our communities.
ICE agent Jeremy Bacon says they work to address a lot of issues that there's not simple solutions to, and often there's limited people to do a lot of the work.
Here in Kentucky specifically, we only have 27 law enforcement officers to enforce the immigration laws throughout the entire Commonwealth and southern portion of Indiana.
The field office director says that they look at cases as to what's in the best public interest, but there is a lot that goes into that, and sometimes each situation has to be decided on a case-by-case basis.
Some lawmakers wanted local answers to what's been on the forefront of a lot of national questions.
How many did we deport from Kentucky in that region?
I don't have that number, but that's something that I could probably do a little bit more research and report back to the committee.
What's the effect on children? Are we deporting any children from Kentucky? And if we're not, what happens when a parent is deported?
Every encounter that we have, we're asking the questions regarding children.
Bacon says it's all very fluid, and that has changed somewhat given the political climate. And it could change even more based on the recent presidential election. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Information gathered in meetings like this one will be used as lawmakers determine bills to be filed in next year's regular legislative session. We heard from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell ahead of the vote to replace the Republican leader in the Senate this week. He spoke on the Senate floor yesterday about voters' decisions to elect new Republican senators.
Last week, American voters were desperate for leaders who could deliver safe streets, secure borders, stable prices, and strength abroad. So they chose to hire Republicans.
A vote to decide who will replace Senator McConnell as the Republican leader in the Senate is scheduled for today. Senators John Cornyn, Rick Scott, and John Thune are running to replace him. Governor Andy Beshear is making headlines with an opinion piece in the New York Times titled "How Democrats Can Win Again." It suggests the party better understand the everyday struggles Americans face and address them. He called for more focus on issues like healthcare, job security, education, and safe communities.
It's a recognition that people's everyday worries have to be addressed, and to earn trust. And one of the reasons I think I won re-election was showing up every day with a relentless focus on making people's life better in those key areas.
Governor Beshear argues Democrats should stay grounded in addressing core issues, prioritizing tangible results over political sparring to restore faith in their leadership. 1 week after the election, officials are continuing to remind voters that their ballots were secure. This comes after a hand-to-eye audit count. In Perry County, the audit happened last week at the Buckhorn precinct. No issues were discovered. Poll worker Sheila Lindsay says this election felt secure.
I sleep well at night because I know we check every ID coming through the door. You know, we're very careful to follow all the rules and regulations. So I feel, as far as the precinct where I work, I feel very secure with it.
You can find more information on the audit and how the voting devices stay secure on our website, WYMT.com. A pregnant Kentucky woman is challenging the state's near-total abortion ban in court. Mary Poe says she's approximately 7 weeks pregnant and argues the state's laws violate her rights to privacy and self-determination. The two laws, a 6-week ban and a trigger law, restrict abortion once fetal cardiac activity is detected. Poe, who is represented by the ACLU of Kentucky, says the ban has forced her to seek care out of state, creating significant burdens. Thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, the president-elect is visiting with President Biden today as his new cabinet begins to take shape.
We had cooler weather yesterday, warmer weather today. How will tomorrow look? I'll have that answer coming up.